I welcome every single one of us for the Women in Trade webinar. This is our first webinar for this year. And for those of you that do not know, WuraisGold Charity Foundation is a non-governmental organization, and our thematic areas include women and youth empowerment, health, mission support, education, community development, and so many more. So the webinar for this month is coming out of the thematic, the youth and women empowerment thematic area. And the theme for this month's Women in Trade webinar is elevating your trade through strategic branding. We have found out that there are a lot of women who are in trade, a lot of business women who have passion. Some even have capital, but most of them do not really know how to position themselves strategically. Most of them do not really know much about branding. And you can agree with me that in this day and time, you might not really be able to do much. You can have what people want. It is one thing for you to be solving a problem. It is one thing for your service, what you're selling, or the services that you're offering. It is one thing that it is providing a solution to the problem of people. It is another thing that people are you're able to strategically place yourself to be visible. You're able to brand yourself so much so that people can. The way it works is, for instance, now if I want to get maybe a pair of sneakers, the major brand that comes to my mind is Nike. Nike is not the only brand that does sneakers. There are other brands that does sneakers, but because of their branding, because of how good they have branded the company, from the name, the everything about the Nike company. It when someone wants to buy a sneaker, someone like me now, I get to think of Nike, and it's the same thing too with iPhone. For those of us who use iPhone, we will notice that the upgrade, maybe the difference between iPhone 17 and iPhone 16, it might not really be something much, but because of the packaging, because of the branding, because of the visibility, it is much more than the fact that they're able to solve a problem. There's a way you brand yourself as a woman in trade, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're selling something or you're offering a service. There's a way you present yourself that it gets to a point where it is not just even about what you sell. People can complain that, oh, iPhone 17 and iPhone 16, there is no difference. iPhone 17 and iPhone 14, there is no difference. But people get to buy it because somehow, Apple has made a name for themselves through years of strategic branding. So it doesn't matter whether you feel, oh, the upgrade is going to solve a problem for me, but the idea of if I if I'm using an iPhone, especially in this part of the world, it makes you look like someone who maybe you're well to do. Maybe it makes you look classy. It just puts you in your own class. So that idea alone, the fact that Apple was able to sell that idea alone, it makes a lot of people, even though it's expensive, people still want to buy it. So you can iPhone can repackage, Apple can repackage maybe iPhone 16, the same thing, and probably just change, let's say, the casing and bring it out as iPhone 17. And maybe in the next, let's say, in few hours after the release, you see a lot of people ordering for that phone. Most of them even get to order before they even know the specification. So the whole idea is branding is important. First of all, it is important what you sell. It is important that what you sell, the services you offer, it is important that it is solving a problem. If you are in, for instance, now maybe Kano, there are some things that are particular to those that are in Kano State. If maybe the goods you're selling or the services you're offering is not really something that they need, it's not filling a gap, it's not solving a problem, you would have a lot of problem with sales, you have a lot of problem with growing your brand. So one thing too is that location matters. It's all about branding. Branding includes, the location you are, the kind of name you are, and like I said, it gets to a point where it is just more than what you're selling is important. The services you're offering is important because for someone to walk into your store, for someone to maybe reach out to you, maybe you're selling something and you have positioned yourself online for someone to reach out to you, maybe a woman, in fact, maybe you're selling wigs, for instance, or you're into importing and exporting, whatever it is, and someone reaches out to you that, okay, can I get this thing? It's because the person sees that, okay, you have this thing, and the person is able to check your track record and see that I can trust you. So one thing that branding also includes is the fact that you're able to make your customers, your clients, in whatever case, you are able to make them trust you. So one thing I can tell you that we have a lot coming. Our speaker is someone who is an amazing speaker. She's a doctor. She's the executive director of Kingsgate Advisors Institute. She's someone that you will learn a lot from about strategic branding. She has been a woman in trade, a businesswoman, a woman who has knowledge about, the corporate world, business, branding for a while now. I can tell you that every single thing that she's going to say this evening is something that you're going to learn from every single one. So I want you to sit back, get your notes, get your pen, and be ready to jot down every single thing that is coming, because we are just starting. Like the Yorubas, we say, "Ashemeyebo lapo ni." So, without wasting much of our time, I'm going to go ahead to introduce our speaker for the webinar. Like I said earlier, the theme of this month's webinar is elevating your trade through strategic branding. Elevating your trade through strategic branding. So the whole idea is to be able to take your trade from year to year, and you're able to do it through strategic branding. And there is no better person that can teach us. There is no better person that can lead us. There is no better person that can guide us on how to do this than our very own amiable speaker, Dr. Oluwambe Pelumi Esther Olanu. Dr. Oluwambek Belumiesta Olanubi, once again, I hope I got that correctly, is the co-founder and executive director of Kingsgate Advisors Institute. She's a seasoned economist with outstanding academic and professional experience in macroeconomics, international economics, and development economics. She's passionate about nation building through innovative thinking, thought-driven, and evidence-based research. She holds a PhD in economics from the University of Lagos, Nigeria. During her PhD, she won a thesis award grant from the African Economic Research Consortium, AERC, in 2019. Oluwambek Belumi is a non-residential economic research fellow with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG. She's also an economic consultant and has consulted for companies like Steers Business and Veriv Africa. She's competent in macroeconomic modeling, econometric analysis, policy research, and economic analysis. She previously served as a technical assistant to a member of the Presidential Economic Advisory Council of the Federal Republic of Nigeria from 2020 to 2022. Additionally, she worked as a senior economist at one of Nigeria's foremost financial advisory firms, Financial Derivatives Company. Dr. Lanubi is a full member of the Nigerian Economics Society, NES, and a member of the Nigerian Association of Macroeconomic Modelers, NAMM. Over the past 9 years, Oluwambe Belumi has co-authored and published several academic papers in reputable international journals and has attended and presented at local and international conferences. She also regularly shares her insights and perspectives on national television, discussing pressing global and domestic economic issues. Once again, I want every single one of us to join me in welcoming our very own amiable guest speaker, who also is our keynote speaker for the First Women in Trade webinar organized by WuraisGold Charity Foundation with the team Elevating Your Trade Through Strategic Branding. Join me in welcoming Dr. Oluwambe Pelumi Esther Olanubi. Doctor, over to you, ma.
All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for that warm welcome. I was just smiling while you were reading the profile. I was like, this is this is like put me out there. Thank you. And I appreciate WuraisGold Foundation for this opportunity to share with my sisters, because I just looked at the participants and I can see that we have more of women going by the names anyway, on the call right now. Thank you, and special appreciation to my sister here, Wuraola Jackson. Thank you so much for this privilege. Thank you so much for calling me out to come and share today. And I believe we are up for a very insightful evening. We're going to be talking together, right? It's more like a conversation. This is not like a TED talk or a speech, in that sense. This is like a conversation that we'll be having together. We'll go back and forth together, and of course, I believe there'll be time for us to take some questions at the end of the presentation. I'll be reading from you all. When we talk about branding, the first thing that readily comes to mind most of the time is trying to prove or form that you're something, or you're trying to exaggerate, or maybe you're trying to build up on like packaging. Branding is way more than packaging. While packaging can be one of the things you get to do in the process of doing branding in itself is an entire process that involves identity, involves packaging, involves storytelling, and involves a whole process of presenting you or what you do to the world that you serve in that sense. So just to talk us through what we'll be discussing today, I'm going to start with some introductory quotes that I believe is going to set the context and set the tone for the conversation today. Then I'll try to bring an understanding to see what's the difference between trade and brand. Then what does it mean what does strategic branding mean? Then bringing it from an economic perspective. Also trying to see how you can set yourself, even within a local context, to become global, relevant, opportunities available. Then also we'll see how we can use digital branding as a tool to leverage your business or whatever it is that we're doing. Then we'll identify some common mistakes women make. Also, we'll talk about some success stories, example of people that have done this in the past and how that had made a difference in their career or their businesses. Then also we'll see what are the baby steps you can take right now, regardless of where you are in your business journey. Us again, this is from Regina. She's a physiotherapist from Ibadan, and you have a business that you're still thinking on how to get going. I can tell you are in the right room. I believe at the end of this conversation, you will have some sense of clarity as to how to move on from here. Also, we have Adedoyin, who is also a lawyer, and you also run a Arua Fusion, a business that runs an online store and sells northern snacks. Ooh, interesting. We have some interesting business idea here, and that is to tell us that we have a dynamic audience, people that have one or two things that they do, and I believe we are here to take our business to the next level. All right, so let me start with the introductory quotes. We're going to start with what Jeff Bezos said, who is the CEO of Amazon. We all know, I believe on this call, at least 50 or 60% of us must have patronized this guy at some point or the other. If not all of us here, we must have patronized him at some point or the other. He said, your brand is what people say about you when you are not in the room. It's like your presence when you are absent. It's people's perception, how they view you. Branding is not about being known by everyone. It is clearly known by the right people. So branding is not so that everybody gets to know you in terms of visibility. Branding also brings visibility, but I'm saying the right set of people. Excellence attracts attention, but branding is what converts that attention into opportunity. Branding is where you get the money from. Your trade gain value when your brand communicates trust, clarity, and consistency. We are going to touch on this largely during the course of our conversation. There's another quote here that says, hard work builds competence. However, strategic branding builds credibility. So when you see someone keep patronizing the same person, and one thing about credibility is that it also has a way of winning people over. When you know that as long as I go to meet this person, I get my product at the right time, at the quality that I want it, it doesn't matter the premium the person places on it. The confidence that you have is why you keep going. And that's one thing about branding, it builds credibility. Then this is the last one. This last one is most, this is my favorite actually. If you don't define your brand, the market will. So if you don't brand yourself, the market will brand you. And I like how we concluded most times, often is incorrectly. So you'll not be evaluated as you ought to be evaluated if you are not brand, if you don't brand what you do. Everybody just see you as I have. We have on this call someone that says she sell northern snacks, kuli, and the likes. Down who are the likes. If you don't brand your product, you'll be assumed as any other person selling the same thing. And trust me, branding is more than getting a logo, having a customized packaging bags and the likes. Branding is way more than that. That can be called packaging, right? But branding is way deeper than that. So this is just to set the context of why it's important for branding in any kind of business we do in this age and in this time. So the first thing I want to ask is, why is this critical to women? And that's one of the things I appreciate about WuraisGold Foundation. One of their thematic areas focuses on women and youth. And it's important that we understand that this sector of the society, women and youth, is very relevant. And we are beginning to see increasing interest in this class of people. And that's why it positions this webinar as very important and very timely. So why is it really important? And I want to take us back to some 10, 20, probably 20 years, 20 years back, 25 years back, while we're still very small. I want to assume that most of us here, we are probably Gen Z or millennial. I don't want to believe that we have Gen Alpha in our, well, maybe we do, but I mean, that should be most of us here. When growing up, we see, I don't want to use now today's context because almost everyone has gone virtual. When growing up, what we see women, our mothers then, owning stores and shops where they sell stuffs like maybe clothes, shoes, bags, and the likes. And they just go to shop in the morning. They have a storekeeper, that sort of the salesperson that sell for them. They come in the morning, go. Some of us from school, we go back to meet our parents in the shop. If that's if anyone can relate with that, that was how business was the order of the day at the time. There was no reason for anyone to sort of create a special branding. And the thing is, those days we can have 5, 6, 7 line of shops selling the same thing. Now the competition is on Instagram. Once you open your Instagram now and you type hair business in Abuja, hair businesses in Abuja, or makeup stores in Lagos, you will see a lot of vendors coming up. So now it's virtual, but you can see that the form at which women own businesses are always or largely small. They are largely informal, arguably underpaid, and easily replaced by competitors. You can see 3 or 4 people fight for the same customers, nothing in the real sense to separate you from the next person. You can as well and because market itself, I'm using market as a technical term, market itself always drive towards what we call optimality. We always drive towards the fair price. So without the competing sellers saying, my own bag, I'm selling this for 5,000 naira, just because you are all in the same row, naturally the price settles at 5,000 naira. Not because they had a meeting and say this particular brand of, say, this pen, this particular brand of pen will be selling it at 100 naira per pen. Not that they had a meeting to have that consensus, because the way I'm using market right now as a technical term, not market as a location where you buy stuff. Market naturally tends to see price settle at what we call an equilibrium, a fair price, a price that as a buyer, I'm willing to buy it, and as a seller, you are willing to sell it. And the reason why the price is fair is because so many of us are selling it. What branding does for you is that although so many of us are selling this same commodity and the market has already created a price for us, based on how people are demanding for it and the number of those of us that we are selling it. Branding creates a market for you where you can decide how much you want to sell it. And not everybody can come to patronize you, but those that see the value of what you're producing. And that is what branding does. But generally, women are known to have small businesses, largely informal, mostly underpaid, and highly competitive. And that's why growing up, we saw that, but things are changing because of technology, enlightenment, education, AI, and the likes. We've seen a lot of revolution in that sense. Why is this issue very critical for women in trade, especially in our own context in 21st century? You will agree with me that women, when I talk about women, I'm talking about people that sell products, not just women in the loose sense. Traders, if you allow me use that word. It's not that they are not skillful or maybe lazy or not even business intelligent. Some of them, they might not have a um a formal recording process, but they can tell you how much they bought that product 5 years ago. In fact, they can tell you off their head how the prices changed over the last 10 years, how much they bought in 2019, how it changed in 2021, what happened with exchange rate and what happened with PMS price in 2023, and how the price has settled in 2025. They can tell you without looking at notes. So this is not a question of being skillful in terms of being a business person. This is not even a question of being intelligent in terms of business concerns, or maybe someone that is not disciplined, that does not have this kind of regimented business discipline when they know that this is when we open, this is when we close, this is how we sort our stock, this is how we do all those things. They have it. But most of the time, they don't see it as a business that can create much more value than what they are seeing. And that is why it's important that as we view our trade or whatever we are doing, we need to see it from a position where we ask our question that why are some people earning more than others? Than why are some people doing the same thing? And I can quickly use this example. This is me running ahead of my time, myself. One of the examples we are going to settle into, much later. For ladies that use makeup here, I am sure everybody on this call knows House of Tara. We all know Tara Fela Durotoye. We all know her. She's one of those people that brought makeup into Africa in a way that today is a household business. When she started, this was not how makeup business was. First off, we don't have makeup artists as a business or as a career path. We don't have so much people creating makeup products. We did not have so much makeup schools in Africa, not just in Nigeria. At the time, we don't have makeup schools, training centers. At the time, customized bespoke African skin specific makeup products. But at that time, she already had a vision, and that's where I'm going, of where our business is going. She understood that it's not just about ends meet, it's not just about trying to have some money. We have, there's this thing we say now, have a multiple stream of income. So this is another side also. It's not about a side also, it's about a value that she was ready to offer. And she knew that for her to present that value, it is not priceless. It is not cheap, right? Right. There is a price tag on it. There's a premium on it, and those customers that could identify that value patronized her because she was consistent in the value she brought to the table. She was consistent with the quality of services she was rendering. She was consistent with the quality of school and training capacity building she was doing. These customers kept on coming. Not only did they keep on coming, they started referring her. Then, because she already had a vision of where the business is growing, they started multiplying. So, branding that is built with structure has a way to multiply the results. So that's why you see people earning more. They don't earn more in the sense of one product. They earn more because they have multiplied the same thing they are doing in different functions. I don't know if that is clear to this point. I might need to rush off because of time. So now we need to understand the difference between trade and branding. Everyone can be a trader. In fact, anyone, I can sleep and wake up tomorrow and say, I want to start selling a pen. And once someone give me money in an exchange to collect this pen, I'm a trader. An exchange has happened. A transaction just occurred. So I already sold a pen to get that doesn't make my business branded. I'm just a trader. But the difference is that a trade is what you do. I sell cosmetics, I sell clothes, I sell information, I sell research, whatever it is I do. But brand is how people see you. People don't see you as a seller of knowledge. They see you as a consistent custodian, originator, and what I would call someone that distributes information. So when they want to go for reliable, evidence-based knowledge, now I'm talking to those in academics or maybe research here, they know I need to come to Kingsgate because I know whatever outputs they bring is evidence-based, it's with quality data, information, the rigor is there. They don't just sit on the internet, shuffle the internet, try to ask ChatGPT to gather information and publish it. They know that whenever I go to this website or I contact their resources, is a well thought through, a well written and crafted research output that whenever I take it and I use it for projection to build my business, whatever it is you want to use it for, I'm sure I'm going to have a safe landing because the information I'm getting has gone through rigorous research backend. That is the way branding is. People see what you do. It's not just that she sells housewares or she sells cosmetics or she sells electronics. They know that when it comes to quality, even if what she said is a bit cheaper than the market rate, that doesn't mean the quality is lesser. She already have a market share that can afford her to do that. Or if it's a bit pricey than what the market affords, they know that I am certain that once I buy this charger from this store, in the next 6 months, I don't need to think about buying another one. But you know, if you go to a Aboki store here, you can buy a charger. In another 2 weeks, you are coming there again to buy that charger. That Aboki is selling is a trader. But you know, if you go to slots, slot is branded. I want to get a new phone. I want to get a new gadget. I'm going to 3C Hub. I'm going to slot. Slot and Oboki, they sell chargers. They sell cords, USB cord. But the difference is that I know if I go to slot, they may call it 10,000, they may call it 100,000. I'm getting value for my money. But Aboki can sell it for me 600 naira because of what you do. People see. So branding is customer centric. Trade is producer centric. As someone that is selling, are we learning anything? I want you to start, as I'm conversing with us, I want us to start putting in the chat some of the highlights so that I told you it's going to be conversational, so that it's not just me that I'm talking. Let me start seeing. I can pause to take some reads just to give a feedback, to take some reads based on some of the comments that I'm seeing here. So, like I said, a trader is centered on I need to make profit, I need to make ends meet, I need to sell more. Someone who is talking about branding is I need to keep my customers satisfied. The quality must not drop. They need to come and keep coming. Not only do they come and keep coming, they need to bring their friends because there is a minimum standard of what we offer here. So I'll just read out what I have here. A trade is what you do. A brand is how people see you. So you can see the difference. How your customers see you. Many people are in trade. I just explained that, but few people build brands. The example is that Aboki guy and slots. That's just a very simple example. We all know cakes and cream. When it comes to cakes, is a brand. There are arguments about the taste of whatever. It's a brand. We all know them. So if I just want an impromptu cake today, right now, and I still want to have something that is satisfactory, I know where to go to. That's just an example. They built a brand, and we keep going back to patronize them. Now, the missing link, because now what you'll be thinking is we are intelligent, we are skillful, we are largely disciplined, but why are we not seeing the result? Is it about the logo I don't have? Or is it because I've not visited CAC to brand or register my company name and say, okay, I'm the CEO managing this pastry business. This is our logo. Is that what I'm missing? That's why I say why skills and hard work are not enough. So it's not about. In fact, some people have even gone further to start building some structure in terms of having people, maybe like a receptionist or call centers, people that attend to their customers. They have representatives for those that are doing online businesses. We all patronize them. They have representatives that respond to our offers. Some have even gone further to say building websites, you can pre-order, and the likes. So it's not a question of not being skillful in that sense or not being intelligent in that sense, but there are much more things that we need to do. The first thing is that people believe, women especially, since we're focused on women, so let me just stay with women. We believe that once our product is good, automatically customers will be trooping in because they all know that if you buy my own fabrics, it's not that fabrics that once you wash it like this to change color, or once you wash it like this to tear, or once they put it on machine and they want to make something out of it to start cutting. I sell quality products, so because of that, oh yeah, customers start rushing in. That's a myth. It's not always true. There is something that makes people keep coming. They also believe that once you come, automatically, my business will grow. Once people start coming, if I sell today, I sell 100,000 naira worth of goods today, I sell it tomorrow. In under 3 years, automatically, without even strategizing or doing anything, my products will grow. That is not how it works. There are systems, structures, strategies that needs to be put. You don't retain customers just because you sell good products. That's not convincing enough. So branding is more, like I said, it's more than just having logo. How do I retain my customers? For some people, it could be their receptionist. That could be their selling point. Once they have that one person, their first contact with their clients and potential clients, that is it. Have you personally? I want you to respond to this on the comment. Have you gone back to patronize someone just because of the way the person approached, or the way the person sold something to you? Not necessarily because it's cheaper, or maybe expensive, or maybe not necessarily because there's this class vibe to it, but just the way the person related. Yesterday, let me just give you a personal example. Yesterday I was like, I went out, so I said I wasn't going to just I wasn't going to cook when I get home. Let me just do takeout and fix the family to dinner that way instead of going to cook and all. So I got to a fast food center or a restaurant that way. I don't want to mention the name. you know I personally, I don't like their food, but I went there because I had no choice, in the sense that that's the closest to me and I have to eat. So I just said, let me just buy whatever it is they sell. I won't buy too much. Whatever I get from this, I'll manage it, since I don't want to cook. But on getting there, the lady that attended to me, I don't know if that is how she does all the time. I'm not sure if that's her personality, but she was so warm and welcome. I was asking questions that some might think, Madam, what do you want to buy? Just tell us what you want to buy and leave the counter. Don't, because I was asking to the point that I had to tell her that, can I see the kind of rice? Because the way they sell the rice is packaged. It's not this kind of rice that you just go in to see the menu to see what they have. It's packaged already. So I said, can you just give me a plate? Let me just see how it looks. She was very gracious. She did that. And eventually I went for the safe one, this normal smoky jollof rice. Let me just take that. But at the end of the day, I was so impressed. And I'm not someone that see people like that. But I was so impressed by the way she was calm. She took her time to respond to me. Despite the fact that there were some people behind me. And I wasn't wasting her time actually. I needed to understand what they offer and what my best option could be. At the end of the day, I told myself that anytime I'm stranded and I need to eat fast, I'll go back to that place. Not because their food, the taste of the food, by the way, the taste of the food did not impress me. It's still the same as expected. I wasn't impressed, but I told myself that I can go back there. So it's not so much because of the taste of the food in that sense, but because of the way the person responds. So that's a way to retain. That's just one among other ways that you can, coin for yourself. A good product feel in real life, a good product feel because nobody knows them. That's another thing. Awareness. You sell good quality fabrics, nobody knows except your family and friends. Nobody knows except maybe your church members or your community members or people at your work, your colleagues at work. Nobody knows. And you sell correct. Like you sell correct. Even your friends and family that buy or that patronize you, they know that you sell correct, but nobody's aware. So that's another strategy that we are missing. When it comes to branding, there has to be a well thought out advertisement and publicity. It can't be random. It can't be, I just slept and I woke up today. Oh yeah, let's do Instagram post. Oh yeah, it has to be clear. So that's another way to push your brand out there. Hardworking traders struggle because they look the same. That's another thing. I talked about that earlier. I don't want to overflog it. We are all selling the same thing. Nothing to differentiate you. Not even the structure of the business, not the branding in terms of the logo, the design of the business. Nothing to differentiate you. House of Tara to tomorrow is still the grandmother of beauty and cosmetology in Nigeria. We still know, even though we have new brands, new products, probably cheaper products, but you still know that Orekelewa is still one brand that you can still go back to anytime. Talented women earn less because they compete on price, only on price. Like I said, price is not the only reason. Like I said, I was going back to that fast food if I needed to, not because their food is cheap or their food is tasty, but because of the customer service, the experience. It was one that I feel like if they give me this kind of experience every time I come in, then it's fine. I can always patronize you. So it's not only price when it comes to branding that sets you apart. There are many things you can think through based on the context of your business. The another point, just to continue part of that, is that customers would come to recognize you. I feel like the crown or the apex of retaining customer is referral. If your customers are coming back to buy from you, is a good thing. But when your returning customers are now referring you, you've hit jackpot. You've made it in that sense. If a returning customer is the one referring you, no, when it comes to makeup, please go to House of Tara. When it comes to this, please go to this person. When it comes to go, if they're the one referred, then you've hit that jackpot already. So you can, whatever you did that made you hit that jackpot, you can replicate it. You can have multiples of the same thing everywhere. Of course, that talks about trust. I cannot recommend who I don't trust. At that point, they are willing to pay more. They don't mind. They are willing to pay. Customers will tell you that, please, I don't mind, even if it's going to cost me extra. Please, I have seen people that will tell you towards the end of the year when they're trying to make maybe Christmas clothes, whatever, or even make their hair, they'll say, I don't mind if the usual charge is 150K. If you're charging me 180 or 200, I will pay as long as you are the one making this dress for me. It's better I pay that extra 50K to you than to go and give someone else that will spoil you, not just spoil the whole the dress, spoil the whole mood and all that. So they don't mind paying. So those are some of the things that are the missing link. So it's not just about the fact that I have a business and my business is good, so automatically people will come. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. All right. So what does strategic branding mean? So now let's give some definitions. Strategic branding means making daily, like I said, it has to be well thought out. It can't be spontaneous. It can't be random. In fact, it can't be copycat. This is what they are doing now. Everybody's making skits now to sell. Oh yeah, where are all my sales girls? We are start dancing to the camera. This is what everybody's doing now. Everybody's ring lights and videos. Everybody's dancing now to sell. So yeah, no. The fact that somebody danced and had his own jackpot does not mean that would automatically work for you. It has to be a well thought out, a well mapped out, a clearly written down, clearly cut out strategy that you keep revising as the trend and everything changes, and you keep rolling them out as you have mapped them out. So it has to be. And in a way to do that, the first thing is you need to know who you are serving. Like I said, if you want to brand, hardly will you brand and sell for boo. You have to have a clear market, and your market doesn't have to always be the elite, because that's another thing. When they talk about brand, people think, if you cannot afford me, please move to one side. It doesn't always have to be the elite. Cakes and cream is branded. They don't sell only to the rich. They don't sell to the 1% of the 1%. Chicken Republic, they sell food. They sell chicken. There's always this joke about you going to ask Chicken Republic for turkey. They always say that we are chicken Republicans. We are not turkey Republicans. That we sell chicken. No, that's their need. You can't go there and say you want to buy turkey wings or you want to buy turkey laps, and they are selling. So it doesn't have to be, because sometimes when we talk about branding, we are thinking it has to be for the top 1%, or it has to be a kind of niche that has to be. You have to just say maybe your own, what you want to face. It's just a class of people that you have defined. Just clearly define it and be sure that there is a demand for what you're supplying in that class. And of course, it can be the 1% of the 1%. I mean, what you are known for, why people should choose you. Oh, it should be clear your strategy. It shouldn't be open people. You have to be sure that I can answer this question. The reason why you will choose to patronize me over my neighbor is because I offer X, Y, and Z. I do this, I do. And it's not about the fact because you are diligent, you are smart, you know your onions when it comes to your business. That's not it. People have to feel how they feel. People have to feel confident. They have to feel relaxed. They have to feel safe. They have to feel like I'm not cheated when it comes to your brand. We don't used to say those guys are good, but I feel like they're just overrated. They shouldn't feel that way. That shows that there's still something that is wrong about your branding strategy. They could say that it's a bit pricey, but it's worth it. That's a better language than they are good, but I feel like they are overrated. No, 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 that's not good. But when they say they're a bit pricey, but it's worth it. So how people feel is very important to how you carry on with your branding. So now, branding from an economic perspective, one way I would just say is that branding is an asset. It is an asset. If you're trying to see what are the assets of your company, even if you, in accounting terms, there's something called goodwill. It's always in the balance sheet. Goodwill is important. So branding is an asset that, if well leveraged, even that as an asset will start giving you more money and more returns because people know that when it comes to so and so, go and meet these people. So it's important from an economic perspective point of view. Branding is an economic asset. It's not just about how you perceive yourself, how your customers or potential customers, how they perceive you, the value you offer, competition, how maybe in terms of competition, how competitive you are. And competitive does not mean cheaper. Being competitive does not mean you are cheaper. Please, you can write that down. For those of you that sell products, being competitive doesn't mean that you are cheaper. Being competitive means the value you are giving is the same, is fair to the price you are charging. So if you are giving premium value, please go ahead and charge your premium worth. If you feel like what you are giving is just average, then there's no reason to put extra premium on what you're doing. So create customer loyalty. Like I said, referral is the jackpot. It's not retaining customer, it's referral. That's the real jackpot. Then improving your business stability. That's another thing, If you are able to withstand all the shocks, all the oríṣiríṣi economic shocks that we have faced in the last, say, 5 years. Let's start from COVID, say 6 years. From COVID to Russia-Ukraine war, to PMS price in Nigeria, exchange rate, blah, blah, blah. And your business is still standing down. You are already branded. Just try to look inwards and see how you can sit on what it is, in that sense. So branding in itself should definitely create extra returns in terms of monetary. If you are well branded, now I'm not saying from the beginning, as soon as you created your branding strategy, you are clear, so immediately you start making the money. No, but I'm saying if you have done your branding successfully, in maybe you give yourself a 3-year plan, that branding itself as an economic asset should return you. You should have return on investment in that sense, not just because of the product you are selling, just because you are branded. So branding as an identity should bring returns to you, not just because you are selling something. I don't even get what I'm trying to say. So this is not about making profit after selling. He's saying because I have branded, and the people already know me for what I'm doing, that in itself should always bring extra income. Selling fewer goods but earn more. I talked about that. Attracting better customer, negotiating better deals, access to partnership and funding. Because of time, I don't want to sit into this. People will come, we used to see these things online. For those of us that patronize online businesses, that they'll say in partnership with, collaboration with, they will look for you. They will send you emails. They will message you that, I know you provide this kind of services. Can we partner together to do this? They will be the one in your DMs. It's not you that you start doing, hello everybody, I'm open for collaboration. They will look for you because they know what you offer. So that is to show that you are branded well. When that start happen, it's like a proof that you've done well. Branding and pricing power. Like I said, it branding does not automatically means premium price. You need to know what you are doing in the sense of what kind of brand you want to do, what kind of services you are rendering, what kind of target audience you have, who is your market, who is attracted to you. That would help you in saying, okay, this is the class of people I want to provide my services to. So one of the reasons why people fear to put pricing after doing all that is because you feel like customers will not come back. Nobody on this call will not pay for value. There is nobody on this call that you know that if this thing I'm paying for, if I'm going to get my exact value, I'm going to get value for my money. We all pay. It's a rational behavior. It's been a rational consumer. It's a rational behavior. We all pay for value. So, and once we are secured in our strategy and we know that this will work, please put your price on it. Don't be afraid. Selling cheaper does not mean people will come back and buy from you. Let me just create this example. I've seen someone, in fact, not that I know this person very well. She's an event planner, you know, and because of her exposure, she had worked with top event planners in Nigeria. Talk about 2704, I mean 2406, yeah, 2406, work with, name all those people, that we have. So she was trying to build her own business at the time. But the way she was perceived by potential clients, they couldn't call her back. That has nothing to do with her competence or the level of her skill or how good she is. Because she has the connection, she has the contact, she's good. But they just perceive that, like, if you are charging me this kind of money, I don't think you're doing a good job. They size that up. She's using HP laptop. She's not using Mac. What kind of car is she driving? And now she's charging me. This person is not good. The person just lost a customer. Because another thing is, branding will make you understand that you could have a differentiated product. What do I mean? The same product selling to different classes of people, placing different prices. So you need to understand all those dynamics for your pricing. And when people know your value, they'll come back and patronize you. Now, another way to set yourself for global opportunities is branding. If you want to just move from selling what you are selling within the Nigerian context, and thank God for social media now, I can be selling wigs in Nigeria, and most of my clients are Nigerians based in UK, based in US, diasporas. They are the ones patronizing me. I'm not selling to someone that can go to Dumont to go and to pick the hair, or someone that can go to any other, wig store, wholesale wig store. But I'm selling to a class of people who have created this niche for myself. Social media has made it easier these days. So you need to know that another opportunity that branding does is potential for exports. It does that. What it also means is that thinking beyond your immediate environment. So when in your broad branding strategy, you need to think beyond today and think beyond now. The consistency, the quality of what you do, clear identity, the trust you have built on your brand, they are all very important. Digital tool, I mentioned that already, leveraging social media, leveraging the opportunities you have a clear branding strategy, advertising strategy, how you want to engage your customers, how you want to attract customers, how you want to retain them, your storytelling, how you want to tell your story, how you want to sell your brand. And when I talk about storytelling or how to tell your story, I'm not talking about we used to, this funny thing we see now, we used to suffer. That's not what I'm saying. How do you want to tell your story of your business? How do you want your customers to see your business? So it's not about we used to do all these things that we see on social media these days. Branding is it's an entire strategy that you need to call maybe an expert in and say, please, how do we move? Because that's what business is. That's what corporate, they call it strategy meeting. They are reaffirming their brand. They take a whole weekend out. They call it high-level strategy meeting. They call in strategy experts. They do bonding meeting. They do all those. That's it. After that, the output from those sessions is what they bring out so that they can have more returns. They can do more, have more clients, and at the end of the day, earn more. That's the end. So it's the same. So why would a business owner not do the same for yourself? Especially when you're still trying to Why don't you just have a session, call one or two people that you know that are business strategists, that are business intelligent people, call them together. This is what I have in mind. This is what I want to do. This is what I have. How do I make this move from it? So you have a clear 3, 4, 5 year plan, how you execute it every 6 months. You check M&E, you check yourself. You don't have to go too far. You can start from where you are and we'll get there. And one of the ways to start from where you are is when you have an honest storyline that you are telling. Then digital branding as a tool, leveraging social media. Don't let me just say too much on that. And another thing that I said, I talked about it, that it's not so much about the size, but also about the clarity. Do people understand what you sell? Or people just assume that you sell fabrics? Did you all understand that what you sell is not just fabrics? What you actually sell is, you are selling tradition. What do you call this thing now? You are selling in heritage. You're not just selling fabrics. I'm not just selling ashoki. I'm actually selling heritage. So when you purchase my ashoki, you're not just buying another ashoki. You are buying something that was invested in some centuries back, that was discovered, the beauty of a particular, maybe a tribe, say Yoruba tribe now, the beauty of queens in those days. That's, you are selling that. So it's not just about I bought a showcase. So because of that now, and when my customers, my clients, they wear showcase to work as corporate. There's a story behind everything. I need to be clear, and your customers need to know it. It's not so much that it's clear to you, it has to be clear to your customers. It has to be clear so that they can know the difference of what they're buying from you. And remember that after the buying once, they have to come back, like I said. That's it. So common mistakes that women make in branding: trying to serve everyone. When you are trying to build a brand, not trying to sell. The Aboki on the street is selling to everyone, but not everybody can enter Chicken Republic and say they want to buy a plate of. I can go and meet the Aboki on the street and say, sell me Indomie and egg. But there's a minimum amount I need to have. Maybe Indomie and egg, I don't know how to tell it now. Maybe 1,000 naira, I don't know. But if I want to go to Chicken Republic and just buy a plate, there's a minimum I have. But if I want to go to, say, Sheraton to have lunch, there's a minimum I need to have. Some will say it's rice, but rice is different from rice because the value placed on that rice. In fact, it could be the same brand of rice in that sense that they're cooking, but the value and the eventual, the way the way you release the entire experience is different. So those are the things that come to mind, that you're not trying to serve everyone. You need to know who you are serving, and not just know them. You need to be deeply connected. There should be something that connects you. It should be personal. It should be there should be a touch point. It should be personal. There should be something that connects you to your client. It's not just because your face is beautiful or you speak good English or you have all the stuff there is. There should be a touch point that is beyond just the service you do. There should be a deeper connection. And of course, copying competition blindly, like everybody's bringing out ring lights, everybody's dancing. So me too. And they dance to fast songs. So that's what we are all doing now. Anyone that is selling clothes and you're not dancing, you don't sell. Doesn't have to work that way. Inconsistency in pricing, that's another thing. Today, the same product, you're selling this for X naira. Tomorrow is now X minus 1. The day after is X plus 5. Your customers are not even sure anymore. They can't budget and plan you every month, depending on what you sell. They can't budget and plan you annually. You are not like Nigerian inflation rate, or is it FX rate that was going up and down 2023, 2024. You are like FX rates. Today you're at 1.5. Next morning you're at 1.9. Before you sleep, you're at 1.2. That does not help you retaining customer. You have to be consistent in your pricing. You have to be consistent in your quality. Today, now, I feel like, there's quality for my money. What I bought, the quality on point. Tomorrow, the price is the same, but I feel like the quality is not the same anymore. The next day, I feel like this quality is way better than even the first one. Inconsistency, what it does is that it punctures trust. The way you do, we know that we build trust over time. It's like you're building something. When inconsistency comes, whatever it is you think you are building, it just destroys it. So please put that at the back of your mind. Inconsistency in quality, in value, in pricing, in anything, it punctures and it destroys trust. Then clear story is not even clear anymore. Today, you are selling Ashoki, and that's what you are telling everybody you are selling. The next day, You are selling ugu because your friend went to market and he's selling, he went to farm and he brought ugu for you. So now you are selling ugu. The next time is bag. They know that this person is not even clear. They don't even know what to meet next time. So those things are those are the things that spoil branding, and those are the mistakes that women make when it comes to branding or creating a niche for yourself. Now, why branding matter? I'll just sit on this a bit. I've already made the example of Tara Feladuro to a House of Tara. We already know how she revolutionized what we call beauty today. At the time when she started, makeup is not what makeup is today at the time. And also Uche Pedro, that's Bella Niger. When she started blogging, I think it was her, Linda Ikeji, those days. Now everybody's a blogger. I can sit on my bed and call myself a blogger. All I need to do is go and do for here and there. What somebody said, I just put it. I know that rumor flies, you know. But these are people that when that market, nobody even knew about such. In fact, it almost looks stupid that what do you want to spend your days doing? Painting people's faces, changing the color of their lips, building products for that. Africa, very traditional Africa, that's your market. You're not even saying Asians, because Asians are actually the beauticians or the French guys. You're saying African. It sounded stupid, but they knew what they wanted to do. It was clear, the story, the vision was clear, and they built that brand. And we have seen some of them decades in, decades out. They are still standing. As at 2023, House of Tara was still rated as one of the, I think, is it top 100 places to work in Nigeria. And this business has been, is it 2023? Yeah, not 2024. Yeah. Oh, 2024. 2024. This is 2026, right? 2024, House of Tara was named as one of the 100 best places to work as a staff in Nigeria. So you can imagine what is going on there. And I think she's not even the CEO anymore. She has handed over to someone else. She's thinking posterity. She's thinking transgenerational. And I can tell you, from your shop, you can have a transgenerational brand if the vision, the strategy, and everything you are doing is clear and you are consistent. And of course, the funding. That's another elephant in the room. You see, I'm not saying much about funding because I don't want us to focus on funding. If you focus on funding, you feel like, I don't have that money. Funding is very important, and funding is necessary to scale. You cannot scale if you don't have funding. But other things you can do while you are still working on the funding, these are some of the things you can do. Vicky James, everyone in this room should know Vicky James. Idabasi. If someone tell you that, are you Idabasi? What the person saying that, are you a chef? I don't need to say, are you a chef like Idabasi? I will just say, are you Idabasi? I'm already saying, are you a chef? You understand what I'm saying? If I say, are you Vicky James? You already understand that. You are saying that, are you a designer? I'm not saying, are you a tailor? I'm saying, are you a designer? So these people have done, and they are all women. They've done it. Some of them, if you go and read their stories, they did not have the opportunity. They were not born with silver spoon. Some literally started from scratch, like most of us are starting from scratch. You should know Vicky James' story from Ajegule to Forbes. She has a documentary on it. If you don't know, please, I encourage you. I believe her story would also encourage you. You can just check her story, see how she built a brand from zero, literal zero, and she's doing fantastic right now. Same with Idabasi. We all know Idabasi, three-time Guinness World Record breaker. Going to Lagos, you can count, just like the way you count churches. That's the way you can count food vendors when you go to Lagos. There are plenty that are selling food, and the food is not tasteless food, or they are good quality food. But there has to be something that will make me go to Food by Ida. That's the name of our business. There is something that will make you keep going to Food by Ida. There are some offices that is where they order their lunch from on the island in Lagos. How women can leverage visibility. So we know social media is there for us. We can take advantage of that. Aside that, we can also do some behind the scene, some testimonial, for those that are not selling products, those that are doing services, maybe research and the likes, you can do all those things. Then e-commerce, there are some platforms you can leverage. If you don't feel like your own page, maybe your social media page is not pulling as much customers as you would want it, you can leverage the likes of Jumia, Amazon, Seller, Paystack, and the likes. You can also advertise in some of these blogs. You can talk to them to advertise your program or your product. Influencers, you can take advantage of that just to create that awareness. Then also when it comes to businesses that are thinking of beyond the shores of Nigeria, take advantage of the likes of AFCFTA. You can take advantage of that. There are some working protocols that you can leverage to sell your products beyond the shores of Nigeria. Of course, at this point, if you are any serious business-minded person, you should be registered. It is very basic. You should be registered. Some people go and brand logo, brand everything, but they are not registered on CAC. That's that's like you are doing the first thing as the second and the second as the first thing. Even before you start creating logo and all that, the first thing is to secure your name. Because you can go and do the logo now, do beautiful deals, build website, only for you to find out that the name has been taken, you know. So all those things are very important. They are very, very important when you're talking about branding and talking about leveraging government policies, regional brand penetration opportunities. They are important too. And don't say I don't know. Sometimes you are an information away. You are just one information away from your next scale in terms of what you're doing. So don't say I don't know. You know, these are some of the options. I will drop this slide with WuraisGold so that they can share with the registered participants so you can interact with it. So immediate actions, what can you do right now? You know, like I mentioned, you need to clearly clarify your name and brand. Then you have to be clear. Some of us, after this session, you might have to go and rebrand yourself. You might have to go and change your name. You might have to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, let's start this thing again. I have registered my name as a sole proprietorship, as a one-man business, but now I think it's not going to cost what I want to do. What I'm going to do is more than that. So I have to go and register it as a full-blown company. Some of you might have to go back and do that. You know, let it be clear from the beginning before we start talking about your color. Why you choose this color for your business? What does it speak to your business? Is there an explanation? So it's not just about throwing colors, it's purple, royalty. What does that mean? Are you selling anything that has to do? There has to be a story behind everything so that if you now have the opportunity to pitch your business to an investor or a potential partner, you are sounding convincing. Is sure that okay, this person knows what he's doing. Then build a strong digital home. No matter, even if you want to leverage an external or third party platform like Jumia and the likes, you need to have your own um, digital platform. Be on Instagram, be on Facebook. Facebook, I don't know, but be on X, be on Twitter, be on this LinkedIn if you're a professional, whatever it is. Be on social media. Tell your stories. It's important. Gone are those days when you think nobody should know, nobody. Fine, nobody would know, and nobody would know. But if you want to really have that input, you have to be there. Tell your success stories, your wins, and even when you are not winning, it's still part of the process. The entire process. Don't tell us the sugar-coated ones. Tell us the bitter leaf parts. You understand? Tell us everything. So connect with your people or your customers on a personal note. Let them be able to. Some people they have businesses. They cannot say this is the owner of the business. They've never seen your face. And they don't know you. I'm not talking about people like maybe Dabasi that we already know her or she already has a name. I'm talking about nobody knows you. They don't even know if you exist. And you are trying to put, let there be a face to the name at the least from the beginning, from the inception. But as time goes on, you can detach your personality from the business. But if you are starting something, let there be a face to identify with what you are trying to build and post consistently. It's not that you post it once in a month. It has to be consistent. They will say consistency is key. I was expecting a cross answer. They say consistency is key. So also pricing with confidence. You need to be confident on what you're pricing. Evaluate yourself. Am I really giving this value? If you know that you are not giving that value, there's no need. There's no need to reduce your customer to just one or two family and friends. Why don't you reduce that price so that more people can patronize you? And when you get to that point where your value has increased, you increase your pricing. But there's no point charging 50K when you know that you are providing a bundle of 25,000. It's not fair to you because you are not going to attract the customers you need to attract. The 50,000 people will come and meet you to come and buy, only for them to be disappointed. They will not come back. But if you're on 25,000 level, you will attract those people that can afford 25,000 and they know, okay, this is where we are. But when you now increase your value to like 50K kind of thing, they will know that Isheti Yato. So even though she's charging more, they will be justified that okay, it's fair because the service she's rendering is better now. So it's very important. Then also leverage existing platform for visibility. I spoke about that already. Then formalizing your business is very important. I cannot talk about 100 million kind of business to a kind of a customer to a business that is not registered. Doesn't work. So we need to think that way. Then you can use WhatsApp business for those that don't, these are just some of the small things we can do based on where you are. That's why I'm saying it does not matter where you are, something can be done. Have a clear customer. Tell your customers to always share their testimonial. Be on their faces. If they feel they should send you, please, you send, they ordered something from you. Tell them, please send us feedback. Let us know what you think so that we can share with other potential customers. So you can always post it. It's not all the time that you come and advertise new shirts, new trousers. Sometimes it's just to tell us what the last person that bought shirt from you, what the person felt about it. It's important to do that also. The goal is for you to move from being easily replaced to being remembered. That's the cocoa. Not so that somebody else can say, if she doesn't have, I can buy from somewhere else. I'd rather wait. There's some people, I'd rather wait for her to say her table is clear to make my dress than for me to give my dress to someone else. It's going to cost me 2 months to wait for her to be ready. I'll wait than me to give someone else that ready in 2 weeks, but at the end of the day, I can't do anything with it. So it's important. And those things have to be clear from the strategy that you're mapping out for yourself. As we conclude, so still the same thing, talking about leveraging opportunities that you can do, building simple website if it's possible, have a professional online fund. If you have a business, you can have a virtual office. If it's a product that you sell, you can have a physical store. It could be your house. That physical store doesn't necessarily have to be like a shop. It could be but let there be somewhere that if anything happens, they can locate you. You cannot be 100% virtual and you're selling shoes. So what happens if the delivery man did not deliver my shoe? I cannot trace you. I cannot trace the delivery man. I can't come back. I'd rather go and report you to all these social media pages and say you are a scam. Do you understand? So those things are very important. Those are the things that help us to build momentum and also scale and grow as we continue to do that. Now, brand is not about growth alone. It's not only about growth, it's also about survival. So it's not just about growing. We grew from 100 million revenue to say 500 million revenue. It's about we've been in business for over 20 years now. So it's not just that in 3 years we've grown our business by 10x. Is that in 25 years we've grown our business about. So it's not just about the growth sometimes or all the time. It's also about the survival. Businesses with strong brands, they recover from economic downturns. They retain customers even when there are sort of shocks to the economy, and also they evolve as technology improves, as how people are doing things improves. They also improve with it. Long-term income. I mentioned this already. When you brand yourself well, automatically the fact that you brand yourself well, that should also generate income for you. And of course, it will help with generational impact. And in the interim, it can help with stability, in terms of even your personal and your family life in that sense. So another thing, or the last thing I want to drop before I leave, is that you should understand and you should know. Let it be a mindset that you carry, that you are not just a trader and you're not just a business owner. You yourself, you are a brand, and you need to build that brand right. And it does not matter what your turnover is in terms of volume and in terms of volume and in terms of cash flow. It doesn't matter where you are. There is possibility to scale. There's a possibility to upgrade, and there's possibility to grow. So you need to look at it internally first and begin to see how you can scale and grow everything you have planned and mapped out. At this point, I would say thank you all for listening. And I think I will hand you over now to the moderator, maybe to take us through some questions and the likes. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much for this insightful session. I learned so much. Like even the social media team, they've been bombarding our WhatsApp group on different things that they have that they have really, really learned. We're so grateful for your time. Thank you so much. Please, does anybody have questions?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ma. Thank you so much for the session. So I just wanted to ask, in terms of branding, you talked about somebody increasing their price, but when the client sees them and they say, oh, this person doesn't have, or maybe, oh, this person is still using an HP laptop, this person doesn't have the kind of car that should be fit this price. How then does one brand themselves in a way that they can look like these things, even though they do not have it yet? Because if the person then doesn't increase their price in a way that they are able to now afford these items, how do they now brand themselves?
All right. So, and I really like that question, Praise. Thank you so much for that. As a business owner or as okay, let me use that word loosely, a business owner, that doesn't mean you sell products alone. It could be services that you render and the likes. You need to understand the nature of your clients. You need to understand the clients you have. If you remember, I mentioned in the course of the discussion that sometimes you might have different prices for different clients. You might not have a one for all kind of price tag. Depends on the client you kind of the client you have per time. Imagine having a client that says, meet me at Radisson Blue, I'm lodged there. Or maybe the person is in Abuja here and saying, meet me at what's the name of this hotel again in Abuja? This popular hotel. Transcorp, thank you. Meet me at Transcorp. I'm lodged there. You know that in Transcorp, there are some rooms that you pay 550K per night. There are some rooms that you pay like 700K per night. So you already have an idea of the kind of clients you're talking about here. And you're going to that kind of person, you're jumping buses. You're going to that kind of person, you're not putting your best. You're on jean and a casual t-shirt. If the person look at you and feel like you're not competent, not because you are actually not competent, I won't blame. So sometimes you need to understand your kind of client. So that's why I said it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of strategy. So I'm only catering to this kind of person. Sometimes you need to understand the kind of clients you're talking about here. And based off of that, you try to approach. So let's say this person is an event planner, like the example I was using, and your average charge is, let's say, 1.5 million for a 5-hour event. That's what you charge. But you already know the kind of person you want to go and meet. The minimum you say you charge 5 million. The person can look at it like she's using HP maybe because that she doesn't fancy MacBook. She'll give an excuse. Or when you're going, you're saying something like, my driver is downstairs. It could be an Uber driver. And I'm not trying to say you're trying to lie or anything, but you need to speak the language. You cannot be saying that you are coming in, you are sweating, all your makeup is smeared because you are under the hot sun, and even the deodorant and everything you use, everything is smeared with this. It doesn't add up. So it's not for you to go up and say you want to go and borrow a car so that you can look it, or you go and borrow MacBook from where you can look it. But you need to be convincing. And the way you engage with the person, this person is saying that most of our guests are coming from maybe diaspora, they're coming from London, they're coming from Canada, they're coming from Paris, they're coming from South Africa. And you are talking to her like you're talking to someone that is negotiating from maybe Ojelega. You are not speaking the language, you don't you don't present yourself that way. It doesn't matter how much you charge, they can always look at you and feel like you're not incompetent. And they feel like, let me just go and meet those big brands and pay them than giving a chance on someone I don't know. So you need to understand your client. So it's not about you lying or trying to exaggerate, but you need to understand your client. There are some clients that attract premium. They attract premium. It's not just because of maybe what you, and if you are wise, you can also leverage in the sense that, permit to use that word, if they are wise, I'm talking about not in an absolute sense, maybe being wise. I don't need to sound rude. I mean, in business terms, is a sharp person, like sharp. You can collaborate. You have a friend that has strength in this kind of thing. So instead of me handling everything, so that I can attract this kind of vendor, let me collaborate. Maybe you're in food vendor. You make food and you have not done that kind of food, that kind of event. You've not catered for that kind of caliber of people before. You know that you're not so strong in intercontinental dishes. You need to be smart to call your friend in that business. It's not that bad. I don't have someone to call. Or you approach someone and say, okay, I have this client. This is what the pay is. This is what I'm doing. You bring this. I'm giving you this percent. You might not have all the profits yourself, but you already have an experience that you can take to the next potential client in that kind of caliber. I don't know if what I said,
The question was answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma, for answering that question. God bless you, Ma. I think we have another question on the chat box. That's from Hamina. Amina is saying, if I leave my business for a while, is it possible to rebrand and still retain same customers? Then that's for Hamina. Then another person, I'm trying to take the questions at once because of your timer. Then another person saying that as a follow-up to my question, if one is selling just biscuit and everyone around decides to sell the same product, at this junction, what should one do to prevent losing customers? Over to you, Doc.
Okay, so I'll start with the first one. If you have been out of business for a while, that's the thing. I said if you have a business, you need to sort of have a touch point with your clients or your customers. If you've been out of business for a while, you should communicate that we are on break. I don't know if you've seen those kind of things where people put it there that we are on break, like we are taking a break, that kind of thing. And they'll say unveiling when you are trying to rebrand you. So you're already setting the tone for your customers that I'm not gone, no. So it's not a thing of you posted last time you posted was February 12, 2024. Nobody had anything from you. Nothing. The next thing they just saw you December 2025 saying coming back soon or whatever. You need to communicate with. This is the assumption from the question. This is the assumption that you already have an established customers base. You already have them. So it's not that you're trying to attract customers. This person already have customer base. Communicate with them. Let them know. In fact, you can go as far as telling them the reason why you are on hold for a while. You can tell them maybe we are trying to do some internal restructuring. We are trying to expand. So we are on break for 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And when you are coming back, but when you are coming back, you're not just coming back again as the same name, you are rebranding. So you need to communicate like new name, same service or better service, that kind of thing. You keep teasing them. New name will unveil in 3 months, in 6 weeks, in 2 weeks, and they feel like they are carried along. They feel like a sense of ownership that you have them in mind. So once you unveil and you say we are now open, they will want to test you again and say that is this person still the same way? They will want to buy whatever it is. At least let me try. And good for you. They buy that product, they patronize that service, and it's still top notch as you were before. They will come back and tell that people that see, she went back to rebrand, and this time around is better. In fact, they'll be the one doing the referral for you. So the fact that you are out of business does not mean you cannot rebrand and come back, but you have to find a way to retain and communicate with your customers. But if it's the case that you don't have customers before, you just start afresh. Let's say you don't have an established body of customers, or you don't have customers that maybe you already have people that come back to repatronize and all the like. You don't have that kind of community. You are just start afresh. Assume you are just coming in for the first time and walk through that. Start afresh. So you can do that. Then the second question on can you remind me the second question again?
On biscuits.
Yeah.
So she's
Okay,
saying that if one is selling just biscuits and everyone around decides to sell the same product, at this juncture, what should one do first to prevent losing customers?
So the first thing I will ask is, what is that good and service that anyone sells and you feel like it's the only? I'm not talking about Dangote oil refinery. I'm not talking that kind of level. There is almost no product that everyone is selling on this call that someone else is not selling. Just that you might be lucky that the next person selling it might not be your next door neighbor, but virtually can be your next door neighbor. So it's not peculiar to that person that the next person beside you is selling the same thing. And that's the idea, that's the essence of this entire conversation. You need to brand yourself. You need to tell everyone patronizing you that they are not making a mistake doing that. You need to prove to everyone that I'm not just selling and trying to make a business of it. I have you at the back of my mind. You are the center to what I'm doing. I think about you when I say I'm standardizing my products. I think about you when I say I'm giving a self-service opportunity. I think about when I'm saying delivery services are now open to across Nigeria. I think about when I say you can call me 24 hours, 247 call service is available. I think about when I say I want to increase my customer operators, people that attend to customers, maybe it's a virtual business, from 6 to 12. I think about you. They need to feel special that, oh, this person thinks about me. So why would I go and buy from someone else when I have a sense of personal understanding, or this person is a bit personal from this person. So that's the idea of branding. There's almost nothing we sell on this code that someone else is not yet selling. But what makes you different is that branding that you have done. And like I said, for someone, it could be their reception, not necessarily the receptionist, their reception, the way they the way they receive people. For someone, for some people, it could just be their feedback system. So you have to look for the peculiarity, something that is peculiar to your brand, to what you sell, to what you do, and stay on it. Like I said, it's an entire strategy that you need to sit on and stay on it. You'll be surprised. And like I said also, that the jackpot is when a returning customer becomes someone that refers you. That's when you hit the jackpot. So basically, that's it. There's almost no one that is selling sweet that the next neighbor is not selling sweet. The idea, the entire conversation is what you should do. Brand yourself. Give them a reason to come back. Not just because you sell well and you are a business person, or you are a disciplined person, you don't overcharge. Give them a reason to come back.
Thank you so much, Ma, for your time. I don't think we have any other questions here on the chat box, and we are so grateful to have you join us this afternoon, evening. So we really sincerely want to appreciate you for taking out time out of your busy schedule to honor our invitation. And so yes, we do have like a growing women in trade thematic group. So, and those are the members of the group that you just actually finished speaking to and addressing. And really, my personal DM is so full of a lot of positive feedbacks from this session and how this has already shifted their mindset. And really, we're so grateful for your time. Thank you so much, Ma, for honoring us. And we really do hope that you're going to be joining us again to maybe have a part two of this session, or maybe in other way, because we know that, yes, you have a lot of experiences that you really can't wait to want to share this your wealth of experiences and knowledge. So thank you so much on behalf of the WuraisGold Charity Foundation. We really do say thank you so much for your time and for honoring us.